Want to learn the first business that I did that allowed me to quit my job as a physician? You'll soon find out on this episode of BootstrapMD. Hey guys, this is Dr. Mike Wiming with BootstrapMD. Now, I just got back from speaking at an incredible conference put on by my friend Michelle Mudge Riley called the Physicians Helping Physicians. And it was in Austin, Texas, and there was about 80 or so doctors there. And they're pretty much looking for a change in their business career, or their physician career. I would say half of them were looking for a non-clinical job or career, and so there are a number of speakers were talking about different subjects, such as becoming a medical science liaison. Another one was involved in starting up a venture capital firm and getting involved in investments. And then I would say the other half were looking at entrepreneurship, which of course, is my favorite topic about. So I spoke about kind of my life and some strategies and tips that I've learned throughout the years in this whole crazy entrepreneur thing that I've been doing, as well as some other awesome speakers. Really had some great connections and made some really great new friendships that I look to see kind of become fruitful as the weeks and months go on. But one of the things that I talked about at the conference was I really shared my story about one of my first businesses that I started online. And I really enjoyed it, and people seemed to like what I was talking about. And, it's always great to know about the kind of the hero's journey. You struggled and you struggled, and then, you're able to have some successes. But when I was kind of reviewing after I talked about it, I talked about one of my seven-figure businesses that I started. I didn't really talk about what kind of led before that, and really signaled that I could do this go from a busy physician to actually retiring from medicine in a bit, and now, back into medicine, but practicing on my own terms. And so, as you know, I've always been entrepreneurial. I talked about in past episodes that, I started my first business when I was in residency. I started a business that could help pre-med students or medical students get into the residency of their choice, and foreign doctors get into the residency, and then we helped them with their personal statements and such. And it was a really nice small business that we had as a resident. And then when I went and I graduated residency, went into the real world and make money, right, as a practicing physician, I never lost my love of entrepreneurship. Now, I'm dating myself, and this is back in the late 90s. If you're familiar with the dot-com boom, this is when venture capital was throwing money at, really, really unusual subjects such as dog food and barbecues. It's kind of where eBay and Amazon kind of got their first started, and everybody was looking at getting involved in Silicon Valley and venture capital. And so was I. I get involved in what they call an incubator back here in North San Diego. I was involved in that tech industry, and my business that I started was a medical advice site called Ask the Doctors. And pretty much what it was you could ask a question to a doctor, namely me, and then I would answer that question and at least give some information. I wasn't practicing medicine or anything like that. But then I slowly grew that business up where I hired different specialists, like a gastroenterologist and cardiologist, and they were answering questions. And it was a kind of a nice little business that I did on the side, and I wanted to take it up a next level. And so what happened was I got together with a big website, health website, kind of like a WebMD, but it wasn't a WebMD, unfortunately. And I got noticed, and my site got integrated into theirs. And the goal was that eventually we would go public, and then we would have millions of dollars, and I could retire on a beach somewhere. Well, suffice it to say, that didn't happen. Just like as in many dot-com businesses, it tanked at the end of 1999, 2000. So I was really licking my wounds after that happened. I was able to get back my website, And I was literally really looking like, what can I do? What can I do to still make this viable? I didn't know anything about search engine optimization. Again, this is in the early aspects of the web. We're talking 2001, 2002. And I was kind of just going through the motions. Meanwhile, I'm still working as a doctor, working full time, taking call, all the 9 yards just like that. And what ended up happening was in my searches for trying to find a solution to my problems about kind of wanting to build this medical advice website way up again, is I ran into going to a internet business conference. And that really opened my eyes about what was possible. I remember this is in 2003, I think eventually what ended up happening. And I went to Las Vegas kind of on a whim, didn't really know what to expect. And I ended up meeting a gentleman who really changed my life. And his name was Randy. He was an internet marketing guru. And I had an idea that I wanted to bring to him, to any speaker that would listen to me. And it was involved in facilitating a way that more people could network online through joint ventures. And he loved the idea, and he wanted to work with me on this project. He also got some free labor out of it because I was helping him with his own products and marketing his products as well. So it really was, I don't want to give the impression that I was just giving free labor. I was learning from him. I was basically involved in what he was doing. And he was a millionaire, and I just basically followed what he was doing. And then throughout my trials of that, I ended up going to more internet business conferences. And kind of my second big influencer for me was a gentleman named Frank Kern. Now, you may be familiar with Frank. He's called one of the most highest paid internet business consultants that are out there. He's been a friend for many years, kind of a frenemy sometimes, but he has been helping me, that really helped me on my journey about understanding business. And I remember going to a conference, and at the time, right now he wears a three-piece suit. He's well groomed, dressed. But back then, he was kind of a surfer guy. He had long hair. We wore flip-flops, and he was on stage. Again, he was a millionaire, and really, it was kind of my ego was taking over because I was seeing this guy that looked like a beach bum, and here I was as a doctor working my tail off, seeing patient after patient, and I'm seeing this guy, and he's telling me what he's doing, and I was just like, man, I'm a doctor. I should be able to do this. What does he know that I don't know? Long story short is I was able to get mentoring from him. And, from my two influencers, people who really made a big difference of me, was that I learned about understanding the concept that I shared at the recent conference that I was at, was that you want to sell what people are buying. You want to sell what people are buying. Now, I know many entrepreneurs, they want to invent the next Uber or the next Tesla. And again, I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing that, but it can be a very hard road to follow. I much more go after the low-hanging fruit, products that people are already buying, and then just having a way that you can have a product that is either better than the product or saves more time or in some cases be cheaper, that can really help you because some people are already buying this product. So when I got started on my business, what they told me was to sell what people were buying, but also don't sell to the masses. Sell to what are called niche markets. Sell to specific audiences that want that information. For example, the golf market. The golf is a very rabid market. My father-in-law loves golf. He'll buy every golf gadget, every putting green that you can put in his house, anything like that. It's very easy for us to buy stuff for Christmas for him. And he's very rabid. He'll buy everything comes out. He watches a golf channel nearly 24 hours a day. But these are a rabid audience. And so what I got started was finding these different niche markets that were online. I first started in the areas that I knew, such as health. So one of my first big projects was I created a diabetic ebook where it basically gave no nonsense diabetic uh, information for information that was helpful for being a diabetic. I talked about importance of checking your sugar, watching your diet. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. I also included I had a cookbook that sold to the diabetic market, but what ended up happening is I ended up building this database of diabetics, and I would sell products and services to that market. It then led me to find other different niche markets that I was going into. So I was selling things that were outside of my knowledge and comfort zone. And what I ended up doing is I ended up creating these ebooks, but I wasn't myself writing these books. I hired freelance writers to write these books for me. And you name it, I was in almost every niche market that you can think of. One of the biggest is I was in the pet market, and I would write books catering to these different markets, specifically different breeds. Now, as a pet owner, I have a golden retriever named Emmett. Love him to death, but anything related to golden retrievers, I'm gonna end up buying for it. And so when you're finding these different niche markets, it wasn't that I wrote a general dog book. I was writing for each of these different breeds, and I sold these books anywhere between $10 to $30 of these ebooks, and then I was selling them on the web. Now, the other thing was this at this time there was no Amazon Kindles, there were not a lot of people buying ebooks. So I was basically creating a website, and what my Frank and my other business experts were teaching me was about sales copy and how to write sales copy and how to focus on the benefits of the book rather than just the features of the book, which is another topic for another day. Long story short is I had all of these different websites. And then one other thing that I did was Google came out with a program called the Google AdSense program. It's still in existence, but still not a lot of people know about it. What it allowed you to do was, for example, in one of my diabetic markets, I would create a blog where I would give them free diabetic tips. And then on the side, I would have ads. Now, these ads were just code from the Google AdSense program that allowed me to put in ads that were related to this. So if somebody clicked an ad, usually with something, in this case, diabetic related, I would get a commission. And, it could be like 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents. But like I said, I had a lot of websites and I developed a lot of traffic these days. And eventually what ended up happening was I remember getting a check from Google, and the check read, it was something like $212,000 in that year that I made just from that AdSense program, not even including the sales of my books. And I was just looking at that, and then I was looking at like my contract that I got from being a doctor, which at the time I was making $120,000 a year. So when you get something that is like almost double the amount you're getting as a doctor, now one of the reasons that allowed me to quit for a time being a physician. And what was interesting is I was cleaning out in the garage. We had moved last year, and my wife said this fallen out. And what this is, you probably can't read this, but this is a program from 2005, March 4th, 6th, 2005, a business boot camp, where this was my first speaking gig that I did. And it was my topic was how to dominate your niche on the internet. Many thought Dr. Mike was crazy after leaving his busy and successful medical practice to become a full-time internet marketer. Now he's having the last laugh, utilizing the power of the internet to generate revenues equivalent to a doctor's salary. And just some of the topics, the biggest myth about selling information products, which were ebooks, niche marketing research methods, 3 surefire ways of making money online, how to get paid without selling a product, and that was the AdSense program that I started there. But really went down memory lane here. Now, the question you're probably happening is, can you still do this now in 2019? Can you do these kinds of things? And the short answer is, yeah, you can do these things. There are definitely things that have changed. For example, one of the ways that you're generating traffic was I was doing pay-per-click advertising, which is much more expensive than it is now. But you still have avenues that you can get started in focusing on a particular niche. One of the ways that you can do it is having your own group. These days, I think Facebook groups are really, really powerful because it allows you to moderate your own group. You can sell your own products and services just for that particular group, and it doesn't cost you any money to start up a Facebook group. And that's just kind of one of the ways that you can do it. But I think the fundamentals or principles stay the same. You want to sell what people are buying, and you want to sell to a specific audience, a niche audience, not to the general market. That's one of the ways that you're going to be able to dominate online. So, thanks for coming with me on this journey, kind of going down memory lane about one of my first businesses. Hopefully, maybe you'll get something out of it. I love reading, like business bestsellers and biographies, just like how did they get started. And not saying that my career isn't over yet. And there's certainly, I know there's going to be ups and downs moving forward, but maybe it's something, maybe you get some inspiration about what I did to get started. And more importantly, I look forward to hearing about your successes and what you're going to be doing, with your businesses. So again, I encourage you to just go out there, focus. What can you do today that can bring you one step closer to your goals? And always, as always, guys, keep moving forward. All right. So this episode was sponsored by BootstrapMD. Now, if you're not sure what BootstrapMD was, that was a entrepreneurial physician event that we had here earlier in the year. And I'm happy to announce that the recordings of that event is now publicly available. And if you order soon, you can get a discounted price at the time of this recording. Some of the attendees said it was the best event that they've ever been to, life-changing. If you're looking to start your own business, need help with your side gig, need some marketing advice, looking to build more passive income into your physician life, this is what you need to get. 11 plus hours on information that you can use as a physician entrepreneur. Again, bootstrapmd.com/online. We'll see you there.